and welcome to the Afters Podcast, Basscoast edition. We are joined by Rumpus today. Welcome in. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here with us. We are so excited to hang out with you and kind of take us through your Basscoast experiences and what you're looking forward to this year. So I just kind of wanted to start off by asking what we kind of ask all of our guests, and it's, what do you remember or what do you recall as kind of being the first love of music for yourself?
For me, it was, I guess, when I was 12 years old, I started drumming, and I just started on my own and was banging around, and it wasn't really fun to just play a drum kit downstairs in the basement by yourself until I connected with a friend in high school and who also was a musician. He played guitar, and we were talking, and I'm like, hey, like what kind of music you like? He goes, oh, my favorite band's Rage Against the Machine. I was like, oh, my favorite band's Rage Against the Machine. I'm like, want to come over after school and we'll play Rage Against the Machine covers, bring your guitar? And yeah, so anyways, he came over and we started jamming out, and the next thing you knew, we were like playing all these Rage Against the Machine covers, and then we started writing our own original music, and I basically had a band by grade 10, and was playing music and got into punk rock at an early age in my life.
That's wow, fun. That is so much fun. So where's the band now? What happened to it?
We were together for quite a while. We stayed together for high school and a little after. We did like decent amount of touring and stuff. We actually played on Warped Tour, and it was a fun time, but it's difficult being in a band sometimes, I think, when you have a lot of different people involved in a project. Lots of personalities, and just everyone's got different priorities and stuff, and it just made it hard. And I think anyone in any sort of group situation can relate to that, when you have to work around other people's schedules and what they're looking for to get out of the project or how much they're willing to put in. It can just create a lot of work and some problems, I guess. And basically we just got to the point where it was not working out because of just clashing. And we kind of all went our separate ways, and I just took a break from music for a while. But while we did do it, I had a blast. I loved doing it. I loved playing in the band, and that was my first introduction to music, performing live, and being on the road. So
yeah,
I mean, how many times do you hear like about famous bands always breaking up, and you're just like, why would you do that? It's like, do you know what people are like? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of reasons why that would happen.
Human nature.
Yeah, it's you don't really think about the fact that you have to be in a van or a plane with these people. You have to eat with them. You're sleeping with them. You're playing shows with them. You're practicing with them. You're a family. And even if you're not getting along, you can't get away from each other, especially when you're on tour or something, so you just got to learn to exist. And I think bands that do last for years and years and years, they probably have found a good balance in that. And that's where I think, longevity and success as a band comes, is being able to everyone to work together and probably just have like boundaries with one another and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point, because you have to become like so close right away, and you're mostly strangers, but you're all connected by this one thing, and it's the love of music and creating and performing and all that sort of thing. Very cool. I've never been in a band myself, but I did do a lot of musical theater, so it's not the same. But so you've had a lot of experience performing. When abouts did it kind of shift and evolve into the performance that you have now? You obviously have talents as a DJ, but you also bring on stage so many different elements, like your keys, and sometimes you've got a guitar, you've got drums, you've got all these different things that just make up this well-rounded, like, exciting performance. How did that all come about?
Well, I took a break from music for a while after the band, and so just a little backstory on where I got into electronic music. When I was in the punk band and we were touring, sometimes in the back, I'd be sitting there with my headphones on, and I'd be listening to Chemical Brothers, Prodigy, Daft Punk, and stuff like that. And those are the artists that kind of got me into electronic music. I wasn't super into it at that point, but it was something that I definitely was, you know, on number 2 on my list next to all the punk rock that I was into at the time. So once I took a break from the band and a break from music for a little while, I just started slowly getting more and more leaning into the electronic music side of things. And I think then it was in about, I think it was 2012, I went to a show in, I went to see deadmau5 at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas.
Ooh,
and
wow,
yeah, my friends and I went and watched it there, and it was just, it just changed me. I don't know. I was like standing there. I was right at the front. I saw all these lasers. He had his cube for the first time there, and
nice.
lasers, lights, and the sound system was amazing. And I remember thinking, I stood there. I'm like, this is it. This is the sound. Like, this is the stuff I really, really like. Yeah. And that just got me more into it. And I started digging deeper into more electronic artists at that point, and just kind of took it from there. And then I had a lot of friends at the time that were DJs, and I would go out and I would just like show up at their sets, and, you know, I'd be either kind of backstage with them or on stage hanging out. And I'm like, hey, I'm here anyways. And they offered me, they're like, hey, if you ever want to jump up and play, I had a lot of instruments.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of instruments at like my place too. I had decks, so I could spin a little bit, and I just would mess around with all that, and yeah, drums and guitars and all kinds of stuff. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to like put together a set, but I'm just doing this for fun. I'm not jumping into it. It's not going to be anything serious. I'm just doing it for fun as a hobby. And then I went out and I started playing some shows, and I got some opportunities to do some pretty cool gigs, and got put on a couple festivals. And as soon as I really went and got a proper performance in front of like a big crowd of people, I realized how much I'd miss the live performance aspect and that energy you get from the crowd.
Yeah.
And as soon as I had one of those shows, I was like hooked back in right away. I'm like, well, so much for a casual hobby here.
Oh, that's the thing with us creatives. You know, as soon as you find something that you love to express yourself in, the natural born performer comes out. You know, it's just like you collect all these little creatives and have all those things, those tools around you, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, it's natural for me to keep putting myself out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What has kind of been the most exciting part or the best part about kind of this whole journey? Obviously, there's ups and there's downs, frustrating bits, creating your own music, creating your own performance. But what has kind of been like the standout thing that kind of keeps you coming back?
I love performing, and I love creating, and I just, you know, I really enjoy the energy that I get from the crowd, and just seeing people happy, and basically like knowing you're creating something and you're creating an experience for someone. And, you know, I guess I try and look at things in the world and say, you know, check in with myself to say, how am I contributing to the existence that I have on this planet? How am I contributing to the world to bring positivity or joy or giving something, you know? And also, how can I take that and do that in a way that brings me fulfillment, and also maybe is something that could be financially sustainable, that I could have as a job and love what I do, you know?
Absolutely.
And so that kind of drives it for me, is just the watching people enjoy the music and bringing joy to people, and just knowing that, you know, that's, it feels like it's heading in the right direction as long as you're doing that.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're a part of that. You know, it's so true. I think we've been talking about this to a lot of people. It's just the economy is really hard right now. Things are going on in our lives that we don't always get to see. You know, life comes and goes and things happen, but there's always something that you can look forward to. And, you know, I think right now that's for us, Basscoast, which you are performing at.
Yes.
Yay! So this will be your 3rd year there. How are you feeling? I'm
feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. They've given me an opportunity this year to play at the Cabin, which I'm super pumped about. I feel like each year they place me in a different spot, and each stage, when I picture playing that stage because I've attended Basscoast before I was playing it as well. So I know the stages and I know the vibe. And when I go to put together the music in a set for it, I close my eyes and I picture myself at that stage. Yeah. I'm like, what do I feel? What do I kind of think I'm going to experience when I go to that stage versus this stage? And it just helps me create sets for each one. And the first year I was at Sleigh Bay, and I did a set that I felt was the right vibe for Sleigh Bay. And then last year I had Main Stage, and I'm like, okay, this is it's a big stage. I need a big show. I brought my full live drum kit. I actually had 3 drum kits on stage last year.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a lot. It was a lot of work putting that one together. But I've been waiting for an opportunity because I'd never done the live drum kit.
That was your first time.
With my electronic music with the Rumpus project before. So I was waiting for the right opportunity. And I remember when I thought about it.
Yeah, I could accommodate that. Yeah.
I pitched it to Andrea and the Basscoast team and said, what do you think of this if we try this? And they were just like, this is awesome. We're 100% on board. Whatever you need to help make this happen, let's do it. So I curated my set for Main Stage last year around a lot more live instruments and like a big stage sound. And this year for me, the cabin is like a different sound. And I'm super excited because it's also really aligning with some of the music I've been making lately that I feel like is going to fit there really good. So I'm pumped. I love the opportunities to be able to play all the different spots there. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's such a different experience, and like curating your own sound and your music. And it's really exciting to hear that now your sound is so much more aligned with, cabins. So that's really cool. Yeah, meant to be over there. So what kind of can we expect from you? Like what kind of sounds, what kind of vibes, what are you putting together?
Well, I'll back up to sort of what people have expected of me in the past. I think when I started out, I was really into the more kind of funky house sound. I think a lot of people, when they get into the scene here, it's a very, West Coast Canada sound. There's a lot of that. Yeah. And I really enjoy that stuff still, but I feel like my music's been evolving. I've been playing a lot more out of Canada and all around the world lately, like the last couple years. And I'm just finding a bit of a different sound that I've been drawn towards. And it's less of that kind of funk, and it's more, a little more emotion in the music, a little darker. And I've just been, I guess a little more kind of euphoric, it's going to bring up feelings
right
listening to it, besides just kind of like, hey, woo, party vibe that's going to take you on a bit of a journey. So a lot of the music I've been writing this year that I haven't even released yet is exactly that vibe, and that's the vibe I want to bring to the cabin. So I'm going to be playing a ton of new music at the cabin this year. And that is unreleased and no one's heard
I'm stoked to hear that, because that's exactly, whenever I've heard you play, it's always been a lot of fun and exciting. But, I prefer that darker sound, that more like melodic, progressive, kind of, it's just a bit more depth to it.
More emotion in the music. Yeah.
Like I just actually today, it just got released. I made a Inner Bloom, like Rufus de Sol remix. Okay. And I just put it out today.
Okay,
so since the release,
it's
going to be first played at Basscoast since I put it out. I actually wrote it originally for closing my set at Envision Festival a few months ago. And I've been tweaking it and stuff, getting it ready for Basscoast. So you're going to get to hear that and a bunch of other stuff, which I'm pretty
awesome. That's exciting.
So cool. That's really interesting that you say with all your travels and where you've been to, that your sound's evolving so much as well. Like I feel like once you go outside of the city, you can really get a depth and a feel of different communities and like what they're bringing. And I love that we're all bringing that back to Vancouver, because Vancouver needs some soul, it needs some sound, it needs some depth. So that's really exciting.
It's getting there for sure. I mean, I feel like things in the last, 10 months or so have definitely moved more in that direction. It's gotten harder, darker. I think Vancouver's gotten a little harder, darker in multiple genres. I think in the techno scene and the house and progressive scene has really blown up. So I think that kind of it's the wave a little bit. I think people will be ready for it at Basscoast.
Yeah.
I'm planning, you know, I don't want to also go and do a full switch of someone comes and they're like, whoa, what is this? This is like not at all what I thought I was
checking the
what I was used to, or I thought I was getting into. So it's going to be a blend for sure, but it's going to be leaning heavier in that direction than the other. But I'm also, you know, I got an hour and a half to play, so it gives me time to go on a journey. And, you know, I'm going to have some of that fun stuff. I'm going to have some of the kind of like Latin stuff that I've played. Like I played a lot of that at Sleigh Bay a few years ago. You know, I'm going to have some just kind of fun, upbeat, clubby stuff, but definitely the set is going to be taken in a bit of that like darker direction this time, which I mentioned.
I'm
excited. A little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, Friday at the cabin, 11:30, is that correct? Yeah.
11:30 to 1
p.m. Yeah. So everybody be ready for it for sure. Taking on that journey. So I guess my next question to you before we head over to Basscoast is kind of, we all step into Basscoast. We all experience so many different things, especially coming from Shambhala and partying around Vancouver and then partying, you know, elsewhere in the world as well. But Basscoast really does hold kind of like a really special place for so many of us. What do you feel when you step into Basscoast, you're at the festival? Like, what do you love most about it?
What do I love most? I mean, I'll start by saying Basscoast is my favorite Canadian festival. You know, whenever someone says, hey, I think I'm going to go to Basscoast this year, I'm like, you have to. It's awesome. It's the best. I like the vibe at Basscoast because I feel it's a little bit more mature, and the sound of the music as well is a little more mature there. And I don't know, maybe just because I'm getting old, I just kind of like that. I like the vibe. I like the way they curate the stages and the set times. Like it seems so strategically planned, who's playing when, where they're playing, you know, why they're at that spot at that time. And it's not just kind of like thrown together with a lineup. Like it's very well planned out, I feel. And also I love the fact that like I don't know a lot of the artists on the lineup, but what I do know is if they're playing Basscoast, there's a really, really good chance they're really amazing. And so it's almost like anywhere you go, you just, if you don't know someone playing at that time, you look at the schedule and you go, let's go here. Let's go check this stage. I've never heard of it.
The thing is that the stages are not that far apart, so you can check them all out pretty quick.
Exactly. And I've like met and experienced so many new artists at Basscoast that I'd never heard before, and I walk away being like, holy, how did I never hear of this person? You know, like they're amazing. And and I just think the whole festival as a whole does a really good job of like it's I feel like it's just like really organized, it's really clean. I like the amount of people there. It's not too busy, but it's like busy enough, you know. And I don't know. There's a big list of things I could say about it, but that's just a few of them off the top of my head
that I would literally I was thinking. You know, it's more mature. It's more people there put more effort into it,
into the art, into the clothes,
into their attendance. And it's just better run. You know, you never feel like, oh, this is like poorly, like they poorly managed this or poorly managed that. You never see that. Food selection. There's a top one that I didn't think about, but I like the food selection for sure.
They have good food there. The crepes, the smoothies.
Oh yeah, I get crepes like twice a day.
At least. The miso soup at 6 in the morning.
Also, the one thing that I always notice is the bathrooms. The bathrooms at Basscoast
usually
are like,
okay.
They're like pretty clean. There's always toilet paper in them. They, you know, and I think that's something that a lot of festivals overlook. It sounds like kind of a dumb thing, but you know, I mean,
it's so important.
They're 30 man every year, and they're definitely not taking care of the bathrooms out there.
I think they have a crew coming through every 6 to 8 hours. Like around the clock.
Definitely. Yeah, they're on top of it. Very clean, very organized festival. That's what I love most about it too. And the vibe and the music. Like I'm just so excited to step onto Basscoast, see all the friends, see you perform. And any parting wishes? What are you looking forward to? Like experience-wise, vibe-wise, any last little sprinkles of inspiration for your other artists as well?
For Basscoast?
Yeah. Anywhere. Yeah, Basscoast specifically, probably.
What am I looking forward to? I mean, just the weekend in general, like a lot of festivals that I go into, especially when you're on the road all the time, I can't stay for the whole weekend because it just wears you out. You know, I got to get back. I got to be working on music in the studio, the travel, everything. You can't just go to festivals for 2, 3, 4 days at a time all summer long.
For sure.
If you're playing a lot. So Basscoast is one of the ones where I go and I spend the whole time there and I set up a nice camp and we're comfortable and we're hanging with all our friends. And I know there's like a lot of other artists that are coming to the fest that aren't even playing, that are just coming to experience the whole weekend too. And it's just somewhere where I'm just looking forward to being around all the great music, experiencing new music, being around good vibes, kicking the summer off, you know, with like such an amazing festival, and just being able to relax and settle in and soak it all up for the whole weekend. So I'll be jumping around. And also I play Friday, so I'm done.
That's it. Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to be like
great
stressing
time slot too.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
That's a great time slot
awesome.
too, because you could like leave that time slot at the end of your set on a total high, and then just ride it for the rest of the evening.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Well, we'll be right there up front and center with you and hanging out, and we'll catch up with you right before your set as well. So let's all get over. Welcome in. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me again.
You got those pre-show jitters yet, or?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I get like it's sort of like this anxious feeling. It's not really like like I don't feel nervous. I feel anxious to make sure I get up and everything's working. Like it's not like I'm worried about like the whole set. I'm worried about. Okay, when I get up, I want to make sure everything's going smooth, you know, because I have like the live instrument stuff too that makes it a little more tricky. And usually, once I like 1 or 2 songs in and everything's working good, it all goes away, and then I can like vibe out to the rest of the set. But I always kind of leading up start to get a little bit
answer your pants start going a little bit. I always say to myself, I'm like, okay, give me 2 mixes and then I feel good. You know?
Exactly.
Audio's working, both faders are working, everything's working.
All the buttons. So take me through, what do you have on stage? You're up in like a couple of hours here. So what do you have on stage? What's going on? You did a sound check. Have you done a sound check already?
No sound check. That's part of the reason that I was like, because the way the stage is set up, for like I just have to switch over, and basically, the sound check is the first time I play a song live. So I'll plug in and hope for the best. But on the main stage when I played last year, we had sound check in the afternoon and all that. But a lot of times at the festivals, because of the way it's set up and there's one artist after another all day, you don't really get the sound check. So you just kind of got to hope things are dialed in and, you know, trying to remember everything and all your settings and all that. But
Totally. What do you have on stage? Like, do you have any instruments on stage? Are you strictly doing a DJ set? What's going on?
Tonight will mostly be a DJ set, but I do have 1 drum pad up there. So I will be doing some percussion, but I just felt for my set at the cabin, I wanted to focus more on DJing and not making it as much of a live show. There's not a lot of room up there too, and the room that is up there, I want it to be like people on stage hanging out boiler room style, friends coming up, partying, having a good time. And it's kind of like my set at Sleigh Bay 2 years ago. I felt the same thing. I had all my buddies up there, you know, you turn around and it's just like the vibes are really really high. So that's what I'm going for. So it's going to be more focused on a DJ set for this one.
It's like all your friends plus 20, you know, 40, 50 millions of out there. You're not millions, but
definitely thousands.
Oh, easily, So my question to you is, I'm always curious about this. Are you going to let the last DJ finish and then start your set, or are you going to mix in? What's your choice? What's your preference?
For festival sets, I like to make an intro, just because I think an intro is good, because even people that aren't at the stage, or you know, they're just kind of listening to what's going on, they know when the music's changing. It changes the vibe. It gives people a break, and people can say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go somewhere else, check something out, or oh, hey, something's changing there, I'm gonna go see what's happening over there. And it just creates, I like to always do a dramatic effect in between the changeover. This not always. Sometimes it's just nice to mix in. It depends on the vibe.
Totally.
But I like to make it so people know there's a changeover in the DJ and the artist, and gives them a chance to realize that, because sometimes you're out in the crowd too and you're just chatting, and if people just mix one into another with the same style,
and then they look up, they're like,
10-15 minutes later you go, oh, I didn't know there's someone else playing now.
Yeah, it makes it special, because we're here to see you. People show up for your set, which is so exciting. So how was the drive in? Tell me about your day here. We had a little weather hole too.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna rain?
No, it's passed. There was some lightning. I think they delayed main stage for a little bit because it was getting a little too close, but they're going now and everything. The lightning never got close enough to affect us. I don't think the rain really hit.
I saw it go over that way, and I was like, please, not my hair. That's good. But your drive-in was good. You said you came over from all the way from the island.
Yeah, from Victoria. Yeah, the drive was fun. Stopped in Vancouver, visited some friends, and then got out here last night at midnight. Went over and hung out with Dunks from the Funk Hunters in his van, and we just chatted for like 2 hours and caught up, which was nice, and then set up camp, and
very nice.
Coming in fresh to the festival.
As a repeating artist, you probably have a lot of friends that also are repeating artists here, so it's kind of like a little family reunion.
It is, and I was actually talking to Dunks about this last night. I said, once a festival gets going, there's so much happening, everyone's running around, everyone's focusing on their music, that you don't really get to have good combos and catch up. And last night it was quiet, the music was off, there was nothing going on, so we're like, I don't remember the last time we sat and just like shot the shit for a couple hours, you know, uninterrupted. And it's nice. I feel like coming early sometimes is cool for just more, better connections with people and having some real conversations that you're not like trying to yell over the speakers or something.
Yeah. So. Yeah, always. You're trying to dance, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, do you want to collab? And you're like, what? I can't hear you.
Yeah.
But do you find that a lot of collaborations and like a lot of things in studio or like projects get started in places like these?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I witnessed it at these festivals, and I saw it a lot. I actually went to Miami Music Week this year, and I saw it a lot down there. There's all these people that are internet friends, and we go out and we meet each other. We go out to the networking events and the parties.
Yeah.
And you start meeting, and you're like, hey, you're so-and-so, you're so-and-so. Yeah. But you never really met in person, but you support each other on Instagram, and you're each other's releases, and you're always chatting online, but you never really meet in person. And when you make those connections, I feel like that's when you really know if you do I really connect with this person or not? Because it's hard over, messaging and stuff.
It's definitely a different ballgame when you're in person, for sure.
Totally.
It's just always better, I feel, too.
Yeah.
And I think people, a lot of collaborations happen because, obviously, if someone's a talented artist, they want to work with another talented artist,
Yeah, I do.
But I think it's more importantly than that. It's almost like they want to work with people. Sorry, I'm losing my voice already. Yeah. They want to work with people that they like.
Mm-hmm.
That they vibe with.
I think we all do,
And that goes for getting booked for shows, working with promoters, just sort of anything in life. People just want to, hey, I want to write a song with this person because I met them and they were cool and we hung out and we hit it off, and suddenly I know most of the stuff that I've done, most of my collaborations have come through that. Just connecting with people, and then right away, as soon as you make that connection, the next day it's like, we should do a track together. Like, hell yeah, let's get it going,
Absolutely. And you just meet on a human level too. You don't meet them as necessarily like your idol, or like, oh my god, I look up to you so much, like putting them on a pedestal. You're like, no, actually, you're human. We're chill.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this thing. Get in studio.
You're getting attacked by bugs.
We are in nature.
Be free. Go live your life.
He's off to see the music over there. That's what he's doing.
Hey, come to the cabin at 11:30.
You heard him. Let's go. Oh, amazing. Okay, so if somebody is in your position this time next year, what do you want to say to them? What are some key words of wisdom going into it? What would you like to tell them?
As far as what? Like
an artist,
if they're playing next year, this is their first time here, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Basscoast, and this is what really excites me about playing here and my set. Basscoast is, in my opinion, the truest version of myself and my music that I can play. Because when I come here, I don't feel I have to play this or I have to play that. I'm like, I'm gonna play exactly what I feel and want to play, and not try and curate it to maybe a certain a certain time or a certain sound or like what I think they would be looking for at, you know, but that being said, I curate to the stage, but I curate what I want to express through my music
for that
stage.
One genre built to them. They're just all like their own unique character, but you can play any genre kind of that character.
Totally.
Because they're all different sizes, different decors.
There's certain festivals, and even especially at club shows, sometimes I gotta take time to say, hey, maybe not everyone here is like super into this style of music. Maybe some people are bringing friends out. And maybe I'll give them something. I'll give them a break from the stuff they've never heard and give them something familiar. A few more remixes that just some things they might know.
Give them that little creature comfort almost.
I don't feel that here at all. I'm like, I'll just play a set of all unreleased stuff that no one's heard, and I know people are gonna resonate with it, and so I love playing here. So that's my advice. If you're coming to play here next year, do you and just.
Authenticity.
Straight authenticity. 100%.
From your soul. I love that. Amazing. Well, I'll let you go to your set. It's because it's coming up real soon. We're going to chat to you after. We're going to catch a couple of your clips and put them all in here.
Awesome.
And we're excited to see you.
Yeah,
we'll be
I'm
rocking
excited.
up backstage with you for
I'm
sure.
doing, I've actually loaded the whole back end of my set. So I'll be playing a lot of my own stuff, but some other stuff as well. Okay. But the last 20 minutes or so of my set is like every track is my own unreleased music.
Let's go. That's so
you have to be here. I know you're not going to see this before but you have to be here.
This will be the first time that I'm playing some of it. So.
Oh my God. The very first time you got it mixed, mastered, all ready to go.
Yeah. Awesome. Very exciting.
Shiny bow on the top of it. All right, let's head over. Let's put in a couple clips. We're going to experience this with him and then catch up with him on the other side. So see you in a minute.
See you there. I'm still like caught up in the moment. It was awesome. It was amazing. I felt it went good, and the crowd was amazing.
What a crowd! Insane. The place was.
Oh my God!
It sounded really good. Everything sounded good on stage. Everything went really smooth, and that's and it was smooth and good vibes. So that's what I asked for, and it was one of my favorite places to play. So I'm just really stoked.
You know, it's so funny. It's all day. I kept referring to it as Rufus. And I was like, I don't know why. I just kept flipping up. I was like, oh yeah, I'm here doing Rumpus. And then the last song
I ended with my Rufus de Sol remix.
I was like, meant to be.
I should have called it Rumpus de Sol.
Rumpus de Sol. That's right.
Oh Rumpus de Sol. That's what we need.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite tracks. I think, like electronic tracks ever written, in my opinion, for me. And I really was like, I really want to remix this and just like, because I like to play that song in my sets and I want to do it in my own style. And so I wrote it for some festivals this summer and I've been ending my sets with it.
Amazing, perfect. It's a perfect set ender for sure.
Yeah. It really does. Any favorite moments, any cool things that stood out to you during the set?
Just funny stuff going on in the crowd and like, it's kind of hard with the lights to see, but sometimes you got a glimpse of like a homie you haven't seen in a while, just like out there, just pumping and dancing and having the time of their life. And it just like warms my heart to see that stuff. And fills me up with a lot of joy. My heart's full right now. So
that was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Basscoast, for having
me
Thank
again.
you so much. Thank you for being
that was
here.
Awesome. Beautiful
I'm so
set.
excited to step into your studio, do more interviews with you. Keep the good vibes coming.
Stay tuned.
Thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. Thank you so much to the Basscoast team. We will be back with more videos here at Basscoast. But until then, stay pretty. Bye.
All right, now I'm off the clock, baby.